All right. How is everyone doing? Welcome back to Python Crash Course. We are going to be going over the first example in chapter 4 today. Last time we finished example 10 of chapter 3, and that was creating a list that goes over everything that we learned in chapter 3. Now I started it on chapter 10 or chapter 3 on example 10 because I already have everything else, and more or less it all is included here in chapter 10. I mean, example 10. Keep calling it chapter 10. So today we are moving on to chapter 4. We are going to be doing example 1 in chapter 4. So we're still going to be working with lists, but this time we're going to be going over loops and how to use them. So as usual, we're going to start a new file. Oops, that was already a new file. We're gonna save the new file as, so our usual naming, Python Crash Course. This time we're in chapter 4. We're gonna go underscore px01.py. Right, so we're just gonna save that. So now it is in Python formatting. And so for the first example, it is saying list at least 3 kinds of your favorite pizza. Store these pizza names in a list and then use a for loop to print the name of each pizza. All right, that's pretty simple. So we're gonna name this list pizzas and then equals, and then we're gonna do, I believe that's how we write it, right? I should be knowing this. No, the brackets. I know I'm already forgetting that. It's been like a week while I was sick. All right, so we're gonna say we're gonna abbreviate this. So we're gonna go chicken. Oh, forgot the quote lines. Chicken, bacon, ranch as one. And we're gonna go to meat lovers. And then we're gonna go to spinach and mushroom. Those are just 3 of the pizzas that I like. No particular order. So what we're gonna do is we're going to, oh, almost forgot one thing. We're gonna title it with our name and the date. So today is the 12th. And we're just gonna call this list of pizzas I like. And this one, we're gonna call this loop statement about pizza, because the first thing that this example wants us to do with this list is to modify your for loop to print a sentence with using the name of the pizza instead of printing just the name of the pizza. For each pizza, you should have one line of output containing a simple statement like, I like pepperoni pizza. So what that is saying, let's start with the for statement. So let's say for pizza. So this first variable right here, after you say for, it's going to be a variable. And then you say in. For and in is your for statement. For pizza, for variable in list pizzas, and then you add a colon, and everything down here it automatically indents if you're using brackets. I don't know about other programming programs, but it indents for you, but you have to make sure that whatever you want looped has to be indented. Otherwise, it will not be recognized as used for the for loop, and we'll go over this a little bit later. So for pizzas in pizzas, we're going to want to print, let's just say pizza. So we're going to be printing this variable here. So how does it know what is in each of these things if we're just saying for pizza? Nowhere have we said pizza before, and we're going to go over that over here in the command prompt. So we're going to navigate over to our folder with our Python code, and we're going to run it PCC4 underscore ex01.py. Oh, I didn't save it. So, all right, so I'm going to save it. Now we're going to come back and run it. So if I just come over here and move my face cam out of the way a little bit, you can see over here, it's reading out each of the names of the list. So what you're saying here is this is getting attached to the first variable within, or the first item, the first value within your list. So you can read this as for the first value in your list, for the first value in pizzas, for the first pizza in pizzas, print pizza. And so once it has done this code, because it's indented, it knows that it is this for statement. So it'll go back to this line, read this again, and move on to the next item. And so that's where you get this meat lovers and then spinach mushroom. So it keeps going until it runs out of things in this list to do. And then whatever comes after it that is not indented will be ran singularly. It will be ran once only for the entire list. So that's not what the book wants us to do. It is saying to print a statement with each of the names instead of just printing out the names. It can be something as simple as I like blank pizza. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna change this to a formatted statement that is saying I like, and then you're gonna go to pizza, right? I believe that is how you write it. And we're also gonna go back to one of our earlier formatting and use that title with the empty brackets, just so that we can capitalize each of these so that they look more like titles or names, titles or names, instead of just up text. I like pizza title. So now if we save this code and we come over here and run that, oh, I gotta come over here to the very end and close this out. I don't know why there was missing one. And run it. It's gonna run each of those things with a statement saying that I like, and it's gonna use the title case for each of the values. So that's the first part of example 1 done. So now it wants us to add a line at the end of the program outside of the for loop that states how much you like the pizza. The output should consist of 3 or more lines about the kinds of pizza you like. So these lines right here, we already completed those. and then an additional sentence such as, I really loved pizza. So we're going to do just that. We're going to say, I really love pizza. So now if you notice, when we come down a line from print, I like pizza.title, it's going to be indented. We don't want that, because if we do this again, so like let's say we write our print statement and we do, I really, let's lowercase that, I really love pizza, and we save that, and we come over here and run the code again, you're gonna see it runs it for each of the lines, and we don't want that. So what the example is asking us to do is to separate these three lines out into one single line here at the bottom, where it says I like, and then I really love as its own line. So how we were talking about the indent, everything that is indented will be recognized as being part of the loop statement. So what we're going to do is we're going to take away that. We're going to move it onto its own line. We're going to comment this out, saying final output statement slash summary. So this is more so just a line to summarize your loop statement. So this can be a way for your program to tell you completed task X. So let's say you're just reading out the names of everyone on the Forbes 100, yes, Forbes 500, Forbes 50, whatever the list is called. And once it's done, it says these are all the names of the list. So when we save this program and we run it, watch what happens. It says, I like chicken bacon ranch, I like meat lovers, I like spinach mushroom, and I really love pizza here at the bottom. And what we can do to separate this out even further is just put it on a new line. So now if we run it, it'll be on its own specific line, and you can tell it more easily apart from these. All right, so this is going to be the ending of this example. Hopefully that was really easy to understand. And again, we're going to be using the Python Crash Course, the 3rd edition book. So you should be able to follow along. How I'm structuring these videos is assuming that you have read up to the point that I am covering the examples on. Because if I sat here and read the entire example and within the chapter up until that point, this would be a much longer video, and it's really here to help you work through how to solve these problems. It's not meant to explain what these are. While I do some explaining about each of these, it is more meant for a helping hand if you get stuck within this book, assuming that you are going to this book, or if you're just coming to these videos to learn how to write Python code. It'll give you like a quick glimpse into what each of these functions do. So with that, I'm going to leave this one as just example 1. Next time we'll be going over example 2. It'll be really similar to this list, I'm sure, and we can go over that together. See you guys in the next video.